Game resumed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Collegiate Star League action. And, you know, I was talking to myself there for a second, but I'm back in the game. And we have, once again, UMCP versus Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. UMCP currently up 1-0 in the series. And spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Star Station, once again, we have a TVT matchup. In the red trunks, it is, you only YOLO once.
And spawning in the bottom right position, representing UMCP in the blue, is going to be the Terran player Aiden, who actually played a TVT on this map the last time I saw him play, I believe. And Doom, it didn't really go very well at all. He actually is a very strong Terran player, the one that practices the most for UMCP, but he got 888 Reaper rushed.
Well, that is no fun ever.
Yeah. I believe it was double, actually. It might have been double, actually. I'm not even... But it was devastating to watch an Aiden actually, you know, flew his command center up in the corner and left the game. Which is, you know, basically saying I'm not very pleased with how this game has turned out.
Yeah, you don't really see that happen very often, but when it does, it's certainly one of the more effective strategies to display your displeasure.
Yeah,
in that situation. But it's going to be Reapers for both of our players here, and this is very, very curious to me. You know, I have seen the Reaper openings in Terran, you know, come back once again. It's you know, it's safe, it's solid, and if you're going to be going up against Reapers, then why not make Reapers of your own? But okay, you only once makes an additional barracks here, could potentially be seeing double Reaper production out of him. And on the other side of the field here, Aiden actually just sticking to that single barracks and continue to try to get his economy going.
Yeah, just based off of the barracks positioning and just the sort of general way this game is progressing, you only YOLO once. Who that's the just. I mentioned it last time we casted him. Actually, I just know it is one of the best troll names I've seen. You know, just in the fact that we have to say it. I actually just ended up calling him you the entire cast just to avoid the word YOLO.
We can call him just YOLO, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but that was sort of my way of...
avoiding it.
Yeah. So it is going to be double Reaper. This is a strategy that we do see all the way up at the tip-top levels of play here in TVT right now. And on a map like Star Station, it gives you all that extra breathing room, but Aiden is going to be able to scout it. Did he see both Reapers? I think he did. I'm not sure if that is a complete dead giveaway that he has double racks, but it's definitely at least an indication that he's committing to Reapers.
Yeah, and you know, this build can actually be a dominator build if you're able to get in there and do a lot of damage to your opponent's mineral line. And basically, if he's not prepared for it, then there's really nothing that you can do. If you pull SCVs, you're continuously be kited. And okay, big reveal here. Aiden does see the fact that 4 Reapers are making his way, and he's gonna be hard pressed to make a Widow Mine or something in this situation. Doesn't look like he wants to transfer over into Hellions though.
Immediate bunker going down. Aiden had learned his lesson from that other game. You know, this is not the same exact build that he lost to, but he knows that he has lost to just pure Reaper before, and he does not want to do it again. That SCV getting sniped on the command center, that hurts so badly, and he can't get another SCV down there for until the Hellions are out at the very least, because it's just going to get picked off once again. He needs the superior numbers here, sort of deal with these Reapers, but it looks like Yu is just pulling back to the watchtower. He's going to be finishing up his command center at about the same time, so looks like sort of, you know, a gentleman's handshake at that point. You just, I'll kill your SCV and I'll just go away and relax for a bit.
I think he's definitely content with that damage, considering the fact that, you know, he did start his command center later. He got enough scouting off to see the fact that it was a factory tech, and he has to realize in that situation that his tech is behind. And I think he's compensating this by going for his stim so early in the game here. No factory down just yet, but adding on these double reactors, having a ton of bile available to him, it could put him in a pretty good position to defend any type of incoming Hellion pressures. But
and YOLO actually sacrificing one of those Reapers just to save the last two, and he actually has quite a bit of supply here, getting that extra CC and maybe getting an extra depot or two here, but either way, here comes some Hellions. They're actually going to get some great hits off on these Marines here. Great pressure coming out from Aiden right now. His practice looks like it is showing right now, just doing some pretty solid Hellion micro, getting some nice damage done.
Yeah, and YOLO's, didn't have his units in a position there to have a good concave against those Hellions coming up the ramp. I mean, if he was able to spread them out, he would have been able to take down those Hellions one by one as they moved up and didn't have vision, but, running away from the Hellions, definitely not the best thing to do with Marines or Reapers.
Yeah, so it looks like YOLO is kind of grabbing his base here, getting an eBay and a factory right now, chasing away those Hellions, but now a solid amount of Hellions from Aiden, once again, just going to get so much damage done, and that was pretty bad. At this point, YOLO is going to have a very hard time securing this base if some more reinforcing Hellions come, which they are on the way right now, plus a medevac. This natural is just in so much trouble right now.
Yep, and I do like the decision here to go for the Raven for our blue Terran player Aiden, because what you're able to do is spot out Widow Mines. If in the event that YOLO had a factory down and producing Widow Mines, then this would be great. But it also will be available to him to point defense drone to block Marauder shots. But big Hellion drop going off the main base. A couple of SCVs are going to fall, but the Marauder should be able to do this eventually, and the medevac will be.
It's all about the natural though. He wanted to pull those forces away. Not that many SCVs at the natural though, so sort of that money lineup that he was looking for, not going to happen. But still a great idea. Aiden almost loses that medevac, but does boost away there. Now he has that Raven out. He's getting his third CC and two more factories now finishing up. So his production, supply, tech, economy, everything in Aiden's favor right now.
Absolutely, and going for this mech competition, having that Raven available to you with the point defense drone is going to be so crucial to try to soak up as much Marauder shots as you can. And has he actually scouted out the main base of YOLO? Yes, I guess he has, considering the fact that he had those Hellions in there. But recognizing that it's going to be the bio competition, he's got to be pretty much licking his chops at this point, saying, as long as I can get my third base up, establish my fifth and sixth gases, get a good defensive posture on the field, I should be able to defend anything that he brings to me. But he's really going to have to watch for drops later on in the game, and this is a very peculiar decision to go for the Banshee in this situation too. Kind of late, not late, a little bit too late to go for any type of aggression on the mineral lines themselves, but it could be used to establish really, really nice map control, and he already really has that though with the Hellions.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with you. The Banshee is kind of an interesting choice. I mean, we just don't really see the Banshee much in TVT anymore at all, really. I mean, I feel like you kind of see it every now and then when a bio player decides to make a bunch of Vikings, try and take air superiority, and then make a couple Banshees to sort of wipe out your tank line. But I mean, in this case, Aiden's the one going mech, and he's going up against what he's scouted so far is basically mass Marines. So definitely an interesting choice, and now he is out to get some Vikings as well. So just kind of mixing in all the air units. He wants to incorporate everybody. He does see this huge Bioforce moving out. But I mean, he does have the tanks right now already in production, sitting in his main base, just kind of hanging out. Aiden's going to be super safe to take this third base in just a bit.
Yep, and I think he's definitely ready for drops. He sees the fact that there are medevacs on the field. He should assume that there's likely a starport with a reactor in the main base. Continue to pump those out, and really the drops are the one thing that's gonna rip him apart in this situation. If he's able to pull the mech army back and forth, there could be some problems for Aiden in this game. But YOLO's posturing out in front here, not really going to be going for drops just yet, but he's going to have to rally these medevacs down if he does want to utilize that tactic.
Yeah, not a ton of tanks out for Aiden right now, just two, and then the two more are in production. PDD is going to be very useful against those Marauders. Bunker is going to go down here, and those very first two Reapers are finally going to see their death, and a tank actually gets picked off for free. Those Widow Mines on the ramp really want to just kill all of those Marines right now, but it looks like YOLO is not going to be falling for that, and besides the fact that there are just tanks waiting for him anyway, so no reason for YOLO to push his advantage further than he already has. Doing a good job denying mining here. And these are the kinds of things that he needs to do to get back in this game. But his army is so hurt, and these Hellions are going to try and do some extra roasting here. It looks like just a little bit too much bio, though.
Yeah, and I would love to see Aiden go back to that drop play that he was utilizing so effectively earlier. He didn't kill that many workers, only got 5 total. But if he was able to sneak back in here while the bio army was
here comes a drop in the main base. But it looks like I just wanted to see if it did do anything, but it looks like Aiden is going to be able to cut it off pretty effectively. Some tanks going down, though, and Yellow doing a pretty decent job here. Actually gets cleaned up, though, pretty easily. Doesn't even kill that tank that I thought he would.
Yep, and back at the front there, a little bit of a skirmish, too, but, you know, Widowmine's tanks just too much for that Bioforce to overcome. Aiden does scan and see the fact that the third command center is in the main base here for YOLO, so he has to realize, you know, okay, we're probably pretty even in this situation, and looking at their army supplies, looking at the overall counts here, Aiden's actually in a pretty significant advantage, and, you know, I'm definitely favoring Mech in the TVT matchup these days. It seems like it's a more potent damage dealer. The one thing we don't see from him, though, is an armory, you know, not able to utilize his upgrades. Meanwhile, YOLO has gone for his infantry armor level 1, already has his infantry weapons level 1 completed.
Yep, and he is finishing up that armory and the second E-base, so he's going to be able to start 2-2 almost right away here. Just a little bit gas-starved, but he is grabbing that third base. And if he holds on to that, he should be able to get his upgrades rolling, so that will be his one big advantage kind of moving forward in this game. Composition is not going to be in his favor, trying to get some more work done with these drops. The thing about this map and Mech is look at how close everything is for Aiden. He has 3 bases and his tanks are covering everything. So, I mean, it's just such an ideal situation for somebody going Mech at this point.
I like it. I definitely like it. I like the decision on this map, and I like it based on these positions too. You know, if he's able to get a good siege position on this third base of YOLO, he could pretty much just end the game, but he's not going to move out just yet. Now going for his double armory. So, you know, I think the lack of upgrades is really the reason why he's not able to move out on the field just quite yet, but if he continues to mass up this army, it's going to look pretty good for him. The one thing he really needs to do, though, is get this 5th and 6th gas. If you're a Mech player as a Terran, you definitely need to get as much gas intake as possible in this situation, especially if you're on, say, oh, I don't know, 5 factory production here.
Yeah. And a drop in the main base, and yeah, it is curious as to why he didn't take those guys, but SCVs are going down here. YOLO is forced to pull all of his SCVs from the main base here, so doing a good bit of damage here, and Aiden's actually going to save all but one of those Hellions. He could have saved that Hellion, but he just let them take that Hellion just for fun.
And if he had gone in for another drop there with those SCVs were clumped up, he could have killed a ton of units, but not going to be the case.
Not going to be the case, and a huge Bioforce actually sitting outside of Aiden's third base just scans right outside of the range of those 2 Widow Mines. Not sure if that'll come into play, but you know, Widow Mines is one of those things in TVT where they're just so great defensively, and drops, of course, just so common. Now we do see a drop in the natural of YOLO, and some of those Hellions are going to get picked up and thwarted away, and a hidden base coming up from YOLO. This is exactly the kind of move that he needs to do to sort of have any chance of winning this game. Now Hellions in the third base, roasting away some more SCVs, but yeah, dude, what do you think about these hidden bases that YOLO is taking right now?
I think it's certainly a way to come back, but I do feel as though with Aiden having the Hellion mobility, you know, doing drops all around the map, he could definitely has a good potential to spot it out. But he's tasked with so many different you know, priorities here, trying to get his production up, trying to get his economy reestablished. I mean, he hasn't even added his SCVs into gas at his third base, so I think he's a little preoccupied, and I think it's a good decision from YOLO in this situation.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. It's definitely not a bad decision. Surprised he's doing double command centers, but you know, that's fine. I have to say Aiden's macro this game has been overall pretty impressive. He's been able to keep his resources relatively low. The one critique is maybe, you know, a little bit late on that double armory, but other than that, and maybe the geysers at his third base, but even still, his money has been kept relatively low. He's going to be maxing out pretty soon here. So he looks pretty comfortable with the mech style overall here, and YOLO, yes, he's ahead in supply, but that army would get absolutely demolished in a head-up engagement here. So Aiden's starting to slow push across the map here, and YOLO, he's just going to do his best to delay this push for as long as humanly possible.
A really nice thing YOLO's done is spotted, you know, Aiden's 4th area. So he sees that, he knows the 4th base hasn't been taken, and this is a benefit to him. He's saying, okay, you know, if I take these 4th, 5th bases as he has done, gotten his SCVs transferred over, he knows he's in a good position here. You know, taking out the sensor tower in the middle of the map, another nice
move. And just an overall, like, 2 big Bioforces kind of hanging out with each other here.
got his +2/+2 as well. So, I mean, YOLO's not out of this by any means. If he's able to catch these tanks unsieged, he could be...
Ooh, and the Raven might actually go down. Oh, he gets the PDD off. That was, oh, that was very scary for that Raven. The PDD going to be very useful. Only one Viking, it looks like, for Aiden. So YOLO is actually going to get that air advantage, and now he takes out that Viking, the Raven, and the Banshee. Takes out all those, takes out that cute little mixture, and a huge drop actually coming in from YOLO. And he actually is living up to his name right now, just dropping right on top of those tanks, but so does his supply. Aiden now sitting at a comfortable 175, and honestly, I thought that was going to work, but it's just too many units.
Yeah, you know, a big problem there for YOLO is that he was going for an attack at the natural as well. It got cleaned up completely by a bunch of tanks and Hellions, and, you know, dropping his supply, you know, attacking against that army up there wasn't his full concentrated force. If perhaps he had his full concentrated force there to attack, pulling SCVs, soaking up those tank shots, perhaps he could have defeated it, but, you know, the composition is just greater for Aiden. It continues to scale much better than the bio.
Yeah, that was definitely a YOLO moment, and it was, yeah, like you said, if he had his whole army with him, it would have been a much different story potentially, but in this case, the bio just evaporated. It was just not there for long at all.
Gotta give it up for the PDD too as well, blocking Marauder shots, blocking Viking shots. Gotta be one of the most underrated spells in the game.
Absolutely. But there is something to be said about all of this mining that YOLO has going on at the top left portion of the map, and if he's able to hold on for any portion of time, it could be you know, the reason that he stays in this game. But Aiden looks like he doesn't want to waste any more time. He's maxed out. He has a very scary army. There's really no reason to sit back at this point. Here he goes. He's pushing up just a little bit further here. Tanks getting a little bit ahead of themselves now, sieging up with the rest of them. And at this point, he's going to be pretty close to parking right on top of that production. YOLO's trying to decide what to do with all these medevacs, and it looks like he's going to go for his second YOLO moment of the game here, but I just don't know if it's going to work out. Dropping, and the Hellions are going to actually end up doing a lot of work as well, and yeah, that was pretty rough.
Rough indeed. You know, one of the big advantages that YOLO had earlier on was that air superiority, and if he were to have, like, say, a Banshee mixed in with them, he could have potentially cleaned up the tanks, or at least forced Aiden to move back, but Aiden is charging forward, taking down SCV after SCV, attacking unit after attacking unit. The tanks, definitely the kingmaker in the TVT matchup, and Aiden is proving that now with 189 supply to 96 supply of YOLO.
Yep, and Aiden actually dropping one Manor Mule. It's like the most conservative. There we go, 3 Manor Mules. Literally just one actually made me smile. It's just like, hey man, like a light nudge, like, yes, I've won this game, and here's me, you know, lightly acknowledging it. So Aiden able to redeem his performance in the TVT matchup with a phenomenal mech play, just overall solid. You know, the macro was tight, his defense was tight. He's able to deal with the composition of YOLO really well throughout all stages of the game. So I have to say, well played to him. And YOLO, man, I don't know.
One of the key factors was going for that 5 factory opener there off of, you know, the 3 bases. Having that 3rd base established right around the time where those 5 factories were really pumping, he was able to hit his stride, and we just saw the benefits of that, you know, expressed throughout the game. He didn't even go for that +2/+2 for his army because he didn't need it. His composition was just, you know, better. His positioning of his units was greater, and YOLO's, you know, army is now being produced over here. A couple Marines, but he's going to be forced to tap out. There's the GG. Aiden takes home the victory for UMCP in the game. So.
That's right. So it's going to be a quick, well, not super quick, but a nice solid lead for UMCP 2-0 here to start things off. And I mean, RPI definitely up against the ropes. Our buddy, our co-caster, he's not here with us right now, but Matt, he might not even make it out, man. His team is in rough shape right now.
They are in trouble for sure, but, you know, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and it's the 2v2 that's next. So it's really, you know, anything can happen. So, guys, we're going to take a short break. Shout out to our sponsors, NCIX, Raid Call, and MSI. Check out all the giveaways that we have going on our website. We're giving away a laptop, continuing to give out NCIX gift cards, and join us on Raid Call for all kinds of, you know, little goodies, and we have Q&As after the matches as well. So when we come back, we're going to hop into the 2v2 and see if RPI can start to make a comeback in this qualifier round of 4. Stay tuned.